Most people's cold email infrastructure is incredibly expensive and it's capping their ability to scale and make so much more money. So in this video, I'm going to show you my 2025 setup, which is so much more cheaper, so much more scalable, and it's going to make you a hell of a load more money. And just before we get into it, this isn't my infrastructure. I haven't created this. So many people do this and make so much money off of it, and because of the amount of money they're making, they don't want to show you. So I'm just going to literally show you everything from start to finish, exactly how to do it, to send thousands of emails a month and scale your business like you didn't even know was imaginable. Just like Hormozy says, volume is king. Now the problem isn't just with setup, it's also with the knowledge. Now what people need to understand is no platform likes cold emailing. Google, right? They don't like you cold emailing. They'd rather you run ads with them. That's where they're going to get their money. Outlook, you can't even land in people's Outlooks at the moment because they're so strict on spam filters. So they clearly don't want their own users sending cold emails. You'll either get throttled or just outright banned. Software tools who claim for their cold email is not a thing. No software tool can be for cold email. My setup, I could actually use as a SaaS and tell people it's for cold email. But realistically, cold email, let's just think it's fairy dust, right? It's not a thing, okay? You're not meant to be doing it. Obviously, you can do it and there's best practices to do it, but no platform out there is made for cold email. Let's just get that straight. Another thing, or another problem with people's setup is the warm-up tools, okay? They might get their setup correct, but then they'll start using instant leads or smart leads built-in warm-up features, which is absolutely crap. It just fakes engagement. The inboxes that they use for you to send emails to and they send back, a lot of them are already full. They don't actually empty them. A lot of them are flagged. So imagine you're sending emails to full inboxes and they're delaying, it's retrying. You don't even know this because you're just doing it through instantly give you a health score. You think everything's going well. But with this setup that I have, you can actually see, you have access to the inboxes. You can see the types of emails that are getting sent. And look, I just need people to use their brains here with how clever spam filters have got and how it's constantly evolving and changing. Do you think Google and Microsoft have no clue when someone's sending an email to another inbox and it says fancy lunch tomorrow with the subject line as like a massive code that instantly used to know whether it's a warm-up email or not? They're bullshit. Warm-up tools are bullshit. No one who's sending absolute high volume is using warm-up tools. Okay, it's going to be a thing soon. I talked about it 6 weeks ago. Warm-up tools are going to be a thing in the past soon, but if you want to get ahead, do them now. Check out my videos from before. Another thing, the cost spiral. It is mental. I think it's like $6-7 per inbox, and volume is the game with cold email. You want to be sending as many emails as you can, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 a month. Definitely even more than that. I send way over 100,000 emails a month. Volume is king. And you can only send volume if you have more inboxes. You can only get more inboxes if you have, let's say you need 100 inboxes, right? I have 200. If I had 200 Google inboxes, which is so pointless. Let's say I had 200 in Outlook, which would be less pointless just because of spam filters, etc. You don't need Gmail inboxes at all. Let's say I had 200 at $7 each. That's a month. That's $1,400 a month. The costs will spiral. So let's get into my setup. First things first, domains. Where'd you get your domains from? So if you were buying them through instantly, you'd have to spend, I think, $5 a month per domain. I could be wrong. But I think it's about $5 per month. If it was Google or Microsoft, you just go to a third-party tool and buy the domain, or you can buy it through them. Or if it's MailScale, they'll buy it for you. Now, MailScale buy it from Namecheap. This is basically a marketplace for buying domains. So what I do here is I search for a domain name. Now, with cold email, you want to set up multiple domains that sound like your main domain. We have to spread the volume. The reason being, if you just bought one domain, one inbox, and sent 1,000 emails a day per the inbox, you would land in spam. It's not healthy. It's not what a human would do. It's almost impossible for a human to send 1,000 emails a day. I'd like to know if that's actually possible. Stand there or sit there and write 1,000 emails over and over again. Don't know if it's possible. So what you do is you buy multiple domains that sound like your main domain. So you got your main domain, multiple domains that sound like the main domain, and then set up multiple inboxes, or 3 to 5 inboxes, I should say, on that domain. So you spread the volume quite low and it looks like a real human basically. So my domain is called centrix.ai, but .com, as you can see, is the king of all domains. There has been some chat recently that .info is actually performing really well, and that's really cheap. So I could do centrix.info and buy that for £1.49 a year. If it was centrix.com, .com domains are normally about £7 to £8, or maybe even £8 to £9, to be honest. But that's what I do. I buy all my domains from Namecheap. If they're .com, it's about £8 per domain. If I'm going to do .info, which I might potentially do, it's a lot cheaper. So now I've got all my domains. Let's say I've just bought 10 domains. I can set up, or let's say I bought 12 to 13 domains. I can set up 50 inboxes there. But all I've got is domains. I don't have anywhere where I can just set up inboxes. So this is where something called Migadoo comes in. Now, all Migadoo is, if we type it in on here, let's see what it actually says. Consolidate your email addresses and domains at a flat price. Take back your email liberty, whatever. Yeah. So there's plenty of these. There's loads of these out there where you can just pay a yearly price, set up unlimited domains and unlimited inboxes just for one price. So this, for example, is $19 for the year. You can have 200 emails coming in and 20 emails coming out. Now, please listen to this. This is the most important part of the whole video. We're going to have two different softwares here, two different systems to send emails. Migadoo is primarily for receiving emails. The only reason I've signed up with Migadoo is that I can set up inboxes. I will not be sending any warm-up emails out from Migadoo, and I will not be sending any cold emails out with Migadoo. It goes against their guidelines. It is literally just for email hosting. They can do SMTP. They also do IMAP, which is what we need, and I'll get into that in a moment. But we just need an IMAP provider. We just need somewhere where we can host our emails, and it has IMAP as well, so you can log in externally. So I've logged in, and you can see I've got all my domains in here. They also have an API as well, but I'll get into my systems for setting this up. I don't do this all manually. I have a whole infrastructure which sets up my domains and everything all automatically. But here's all my domains in here. I must have about 60 or so. I'm not 100% sure. But if I click into them, you can see I've got 4 email accounts. I've got a Postmaster account as well, but 4 email accounts set up. And if I was to go into another one, I'd have 4 again. I always set up 4 email accounts per domain. So this is what I do. And I need to reiterate, I'm not sending any emails out with Migadoo. You need to make sure you don't send any emails out with Migadoo. We just receive. It's just a way to receive, so that when I actually send out via Instantly, while Instantly logs into my accounts via IMAP and will send emails out on my behalf, the Unibox feature, or the IMAP feature with Migadoo, allows Instantly to log into all my accounts via IMAP and create one Unibox, so that when I get a reply in, it replies to any of my accounts, it replies into the Instantly Unibox. So that's what I use for my IMAP provider. IMAP for receiving emails, right? This is, well, IMAP for logging in, but this is just where I receive emails. So we've got our domains and we've got inboxes, but we've actually got no way of sending out. So what we use is an SMTP server. There's plenty of tools out there that allow you to connect your domains and your email accounts to an SMTP. This is literally just a sending server which sends emails out. Me personally, I use Spark Post, but there's plenty out there like SMTP2Go, anywhere that basically allows you to set up a dedicated IP, which again is really important for this infrastructure. You don't want anyone else ruining your sending patterns. So let's say Instantly, for example, or Mailscale, everyone's sending from a shared IP. If there's one guy that comes in, Nigerian Prince 99 at gmail.com, starts blasting out Viagra offers, all your deliverability is going to tank. Everyone else is going to tank, because it doesn't just flag that domain or that inbox, it flags the whole IP, right? So you want to find a SMTP server that allows you to set up your own dedicated IP, so you have complete control. If you were to do this with in the shared IP pool, Spark Post would ban you because they don't want cold emails. Like I said at the start, no one wants you sending cold emails. Platforms might be more lenient towards it, but yeah, like I say, no one wants you sending cold emails. It's just a fact. So I personally use Spark Post. It's got a really comprehensive API documentation. It allows me to automate the whole process of adding domains, adding bounce domains, and sending through a specific account or IP every single time I set up a new client for this infrastructure. Now, the fact is that this actually outperforms Google, okay? I've tested everything. I've tested Mailscale, I've tested Gmail inboxes, and I've tested this. That's all I'm ever doing really, is just testing constantly to see which one the best is. And this outperformed both. It outperformed Mailscale by an absolute mile. And Gmail, it just outperformed. It was pretty similar, but it still outperformed. Maybe that was because of different offers. I don't know. I just got lucky with the leads. But I am constantly with this infrastructure landing in Gmail inboxes. It is not a problem ever. I'm always landing in Google. Like I say, not a problem. Microsoft, on the other hand, is a little bit harder. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. It is a little bit harder. But again, it's nothing to do with sending from an SMTP server. That's just to do with Outlook being so strict on how their users receive emails. It actually, a few weeks ago, got so strict that even Outlook users were struggling to land in other Outlook users' inboxes. They were sending it to spam. So they had to lessen the restrictions a little bit. But that just goes to show how much Outlook are really trying not to make you cold email. So the best way to get into Outlook is to just not send to them to start with, build up your IP's reputation, and then send out after maybe 2 months or maybe a little bit less, six weeks. There's no real time frame on it, but whenever you feel like your IP is warmed up enough, you haven't really got any, you're not on any blacklist, all your domains are fine, everything's healthy, then you could probably start sending incrementally or slowly to Outlook and just test it and just see if you get many replies from it. If not, don't send to them. It's pointless. If you're going to send to Microsoft, you're going to land in the spam and it's not going to do your new dedicated IP any good at all. Another thing with this infrastructure is you still need to follow best practices. I've already mentioned one, which is spreading your volume across multiple accounts. You want to make your copy as personalized as you possibly can. I'm not just talking one email. Try and personalize every single email. It might cost you a bit more money in terms of tokens, but this is what I do. I personalize every single email. My IP health is incredible. It looks like I've actually sat there and written the email because every single email is different. If every email was the same, then Google and Microsoft will pick up on this and go, this guy's clearly using a sequencer, Instantly AI or Smart Lead, and is not using best practices and he's not acting like a real human. It's clearly a bot sending them, let's block or send to spam, etc., etc. There's plenty of other best practices to follow, but those are the two main ones. I've got videos on cold emailing in my channel a bit earlier on, they're a bit further back, but go take a look. There's some really good tips and tricks in there. I'll probably upload again in a couple of weeks anyway, a new one that's updated because the rules are all changing. But yeah, if I were you, just do all you can to keep your IPs healthy, because once it's burned, it's burned. Now, here's my automation for adding to Spark Post and creating the emails and then adding to a Google Sheets. As part of Instantly's new V2 API documentation, you can actually add them straight into Instantly, but in this automation, it hasn't been updated because I don't really use mate.com too much anymore, but it will just add it to a Google Sheets. Then I'll download that file and add it into Instantly. But essentially what it does, it gets the domains from Spark Post. It will then check to see if the attributes created are later than or equal to today. So basically, if the domain, I'll explain this better. So in the get domains from Namecheap module, it outputs a load of different stuff. One of those is when the domain was bought, when it was created. So after the iterator, I map the iterator, the date that it was created. So it will pass through if the date that it was created equals later than or equal to today. Obviously, it can't be later than because I didn't buy them in the future, so it's today, essentially. So think of it like this. If you bought these domains today, so that means it's not passing through all my old domains that I've had for a year or 2 years, whatever it is. It's just passing through new domains that I've bought. I hope I explained that well. Then it's going to get the domain, add it to Spark Post. It's going to add the bounce domain to Spark Post. I don't think I need these anymore because inside HTTP requests, you can actually toggle a button to to pass JSON anyway. Then this sets the variables. So this sets the TLD, SLD. The SLD is what this is doing. It's getting the first part of the domain before the dot. So that would be for centrix.ai, it would be centrix. The TLD is getting the second part after the dot, so .a or AI. This is the selector, and that's the DKIM key. I'll then update the DNS records in Namecheap for pristine deliverability. So I'm not going to click into that because it will show you my API key. But essentially what it is a long query URL which updates it with the DKIM. The SPF is already the same and the DMARC's the same. So it literally just dynamically updates the TLD, SLD. Well, you need the TLD and the SLD, which is why it's a variable, and it will update the DKIM as well as the MX records for Migadoo. Then we'll wait a minute and then we'll go and verify both domains within Spark Post. We'll create the JSON string. So Beinn.ul immediately takes, so there's the names of my, mailboxes, iterate over that, and then actually create the mailboxes with Migadoo's API, and then add that into Google Sheets. All automatically, my inboxes and domains are added to Spark Post and created all automatically. This is the Spark Post version, which is obviously a lot messy because I always mess around with it because I might have to just do different things. I might have to delete the mailboxes because something went wrong or something like that. But essentially the main flow is adding the bounce domain and the sending domain, updating the DNS records, and then verifying. It's pretty much as simple as that. There's plenty of other ones in here. I might have to update the domains, something might be wrong, so I'll have to get it, update the DNS records, then verify those DNS records within Spark Post, create the mailboxes and add to a sheet. But as you can see here, you can actually add the accounts to instantly automatically. I think something went wrong. I think I used the wrong API key, so it was sending from a different IP pool within Spark Post, so I had to delete all the accounts, update them with the new API key and just add them back in. So I basically just had that there to delete the accounts, and then I put add accounts. I just added it back in, simple as that. Then once they're in there and I've got all my copy and leads in there, I can run my warm-up automation. Now, essentially what this does is it will get all the health metrics of the domain level, but also the inbox level and also the IP level, and it will get the health metrics and decide which ones to increase and send more emails per day and which ones to just keep where they are until the health gets a bit better and then send out more as well. So I don't have to do anything. It can pause campaigns, start campaigns, can do a load of different stuff, but all my mailboxes are in this Google Sheet. We'll get the Centrix Pool B status. So that's that's one of my IPs. So we'll get the status of it because you can actually warm up your IP within Spark Post. Now that doesn't mean it starts sending emails out on your behalf like instantly does. What it basically means is it caps you at a limit of the amount of emails you can send via that IP. So the first one's 200 emails. You can send 200 emails a day. So once you get up to about 190, near enough 200, it will then look at whether 90% of your domains are healthy, and it'll go, okay, the sending was good, so let's increase you to the next stage, which is 500, then 1,000, and it'll basically just keep this automation will keep getting the status of the IP to see what stage we're in. Then it will get the campaign status to see the metrics of everything. And then it will get the Spark Post domain metrics. So there's a lot of stuff in here. So you can see I put the JSON metrics to fetch to make it a lot quicker. But basically, if you go in here, you can see all the metrics that I've asked it to get, which is just all this stuff. These are the different deliverability metrics that you can get through SparkPost API. So it's count how many targeted, how many were injected, how many got delivered, how many got delivered on the first go, how many bounce, soft bounce, hard bounce, block bounce, inbound bounce, out of bound bounce, stuff like that, right? Spam complaints, and it'll take this all into account into how healthy the metrics are. So once it's done that, this is the most important node. If you were to have this automation through my school community, because this is very complex and took me so long to do, so I'm only really giving it to my school community, which I'm sure you can agree is fair enough. This one has all the logic in. This is literally the brain of the whole automation, which is pretty crazy. So if you wanted to change anything, if you wanted the warm up to be a bit quicker, slower, you just put it in here, and it's literally the brain. It will decide which path to go down, how many mailboxes are going to get updated. So it will go up here. There's the filter. It will basically give the mailboxes a stamp of to update true or update false. If it's true, it will go and get the account info from instantly and update the daily limit. This is basically my database as well as error handling. Then it will go down here and prepare the campaign and updates. Prepare campaign updates and health checks. Go through here, update the daily campaign limit of that campaign. If it needs to pause the campaign, it will pause the campaign. Get the reply rate basically from the campaign and then put that into my database there as well. And then it will send me a notification to my phone. This runs at 6 a.m. every weekday morning. So when I get up at 6 a.m., it takes about 15 minutes to run. So when I get up, when I'm ready, when I'm heading to the gym, it normally comes through and says, okay, look, here's your metrics. And while I'm in the gym, I can just check every single domain just to see what's going on. And one last thing that you might want to be aware of is IP and blacklist checking. This is obviously all automated as well. It will check my IP to see if I'm on a blacklist, and it will let me know if I am. If not, it will just won't do anything, but it checks it every single morning. And you can do the same for your domains. This checks whether I've been blacklisted or not, and we'll update a Google Sheet just to see if it's blacklisted or not blacklisted. Don't really need this, but what I do need is the pushover message to tell me that any of my domains have landed on a blacklist, to let me know, and I can just stop sending through that domain, just keep it back. When you're doing your warm-ups, you want to create a really no-brainer offer, easy things to reply to so your engagement is good, which is obviously going to help your reputation and your trust. But, if a domain lands in the blacklist, I can just take it out of rotation and warm it up in a different type of campaign, which is a high engagement campaign, essentially. It's great because of the automations. My whole infrastructure is pretty easy to manage. Every time I get a new client, it's a quick onboarding because I can just set up their domains and invoices so quickly and have them sending the next day, which actually makes my offer so good as well. Thanks to this new warm-up method, is that I can promise them results on day one. I can promise them results tomorrow because I can start sending from 50 inboxes tomorrow, 50 emails a day, and hope that one replies, that they get a lead straight away, and they can be really, excited about it for when we start sending 1,000 a day or 600 a day, something like that. But the bit everyone wanted to know is the cost breakdown. So my setup is $75 a month for SparkPost and $19 a year for Migadoo. That's it. With your traditional EAP, it's going to probably be, with the domain included, add a couple dollars on, $10 per month per inbox. So my setup with 30 inboxes is still $80 a month plus Migadoo added on. If I was to split that by 12, less than that, still $70 odd a month. Whereas a traditional ESP is going to cost, for 30 inboxes, $300 a month. And I can just continuously keep adding domains and inboxes to my account at no extra cost. Whereas with the ESPs and MailScale and softwares, SaaS companies, you're going to have to continuously be paying more and more. And by the end of it, you're going to be paying thousands a month. So that's it. That's literally how I set up my inboxes and domains, very cost effectively and very effectively in terms of the results that I get as well. So if you want all this infrastructure, it's all in my school community. You can jump in, take a look and see what results people are getting, because it's incredible results. But the main thing here is it allows you to scale. It allows you to send so many emails that it's just impossible to fail. If I was someone starting out now, I'd literally just probably buy a load of .info with this .info domains, with this infrastructure, and pepper out as many emails as they can a day. And after month one, it's business on easy mode. It really is. Yeah, if you liked it, drop me a like. Let me know what you think. Drop me any questions, because I'll be replying to everyone and helping you out if you need any help. If you want direct access to everything, it's in my school community. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Take care and have a great rest of your day.